Welcome along. I'm Vanessa from Being Yoga, here to deliver a 20-minute abridged class. So we can get, since we've only got 20 minutes together, we can get started straight away with some cat's breath or spinal flexion movements. So in a crossed legs and cupping the hands over the knees, just starting to wake up the spine and maybe clear any of those cobwebs out, not only through the spine itself, but maybe in the pelvis, potentially even up to the neck and even the shoulders. So everything can get involved here. Nothing in the body is in isolation, where these it's like a symphony, an orchestra, and all the different parts have their place and part to play in creating this incredible symphony of our body. So if your knees are okay, you can rock over the knees, otherwise swing the legs around and just continue with this cat's breath movement. Maybe taking it a little further at the top of the inhale, opening through the front of the body. At the bottom of the exhale, opening through the back of the body. And continuing on like this. The inhale turning to the exhale, just like the tide that changes, incoming, outcoming tide. Let's add it in the right leg, drawing into the chest with the exhale, and with the inhale extending out. And just continuing on. Maybe at the top of the inhale, getting a little more height in that back leg. Maybe even adding in the arm extending out. So like a wave, building, and reaching that peak. One more time, lifting up. And then plant the left hand to the floor. So that was the left arm out, opposite, sorry. I was enjoying it too much. All right, and then taking the leg over to the left side and look over the left shoulder. So this is our exhale. And then inhaling the leg out to the right side. So I've lifted up onto fingertips here. You can have the leg straight or bent. I can't move through walls yet, so I'm bending the leg. Really am working on being able to move through walls, but I'm still not there. Oh, or lamps. All right, and then lift up onto fingertips and stepping the foot all the way forward to the hands. You can straighten through the back leg and then inhaling up into this crescent position. As you exhale, bring the hands down through Namaste. So let's just flow, since we're still kind of warming up. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, lift up to fingertips, and as you exhale, sink down into the lunge position. Going again, inhaling, opening out, lifting up, lift onto tippy toes of the back foot, and exhaling, melting down into the lunge. Inhale, opening out, lifting, and exhaling to sink down into the lunge. So stay in the lunge and keep an awareness of that back leg. Even though you can't see it, feel into it. Then plant the right hand onto the right thigh. Inhale the left arm up and exhale across the body, but don't touch. So twisting 3 times. Inhaling and opening out. And exhale across into the twist without touching. And then inhale, expanding and lifting, and exhaling across the body. And then you can settle in, maybe going upper arm to the outside of the leg if you wanted to, choosing this easier option with the hand to the inside of the leg. But it's great to keep that awareness of the back leg bright and lifting as well. And rather than collapsing down, think of buoyancy and lift. So you're defying gravity and lifting up. Give it one last breath here. And then exhale to release down. Recoil and step forward. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthening through the spine, and exhale to fold in. Come up through a reverse swan dive. Bring the palms to touch overhead and exhale the hands down through Namaste. Take one expanded or a heart opening mandala here. Inhale, lift the elbows high, interlacing the fingers. Exhale, press the palms away and rounding through the back. Inhale, 2, stretch the arms all the way up from base through to palms, reaching up, and exhale, release and interlace behind the back of the body. Take an inhale here. And exhale, sink yourself down into chair pose. And in chair pose, ensure that the feet stay hip width apart and knees are tracking directly forward. Reach the knuckles back and lift through the crown, and maybe you can sink in a little deeper, a little deeper. Give it one last breath here. And then folding over, and take the hands up and over as best you can. You can then release and touch down with the hands. Inhale to lift halfway up again, and exhale the left leg all the way back. So we'll be coming into Virabhadrasana 2, and we've still got the right leg forward like we have done. So in Virabhadrasana 2, go with the hands at shoulder height, lengthening through that inner right thigh, and have the left toes turned in ever so slightly. Come into a reverse warrior. Some of you might like to have a block in front of you there to come into Ardha Chandrasana in a moment, but not necessary. Isn't it great at home? There's no judgment when you do your own variations. Inhale here, creating length through the entire right side of the body, and then exhale and into Parsvakonasana, which you could take any variation of. Then coming into said Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon pose, so left hand onto the left hip and then launching yourself into position. So the back leg is in line with the spine, and then open out across your wingspan all the way through to the fingertips. Again, brighten into that back leg, even though you can't see it. Feel it, brighten, extend to it and to the crown as well. Some of you might like to challenge yourself by hovering the bottom hand. But again, it's a very non-judgmental space in your own home. So you do you. Bend into the standing leg, stepping back and releasing both hands down either side of the foot. We'll come into side plank, so I'm going to be facing away from you, pardon my back, and I've got the right foot, moved the right foot halfway down the mat and holding this side plank here. If you wanted to, you could go into this full side plank position if you'd like. Give it one more breath here, and then exhaling and lowering the hand down. Take the plank pose, but with the feet wider than hip width apart, and then just rocking the heels from side to side, staying steady through the hands. Maybe exhaling to the side, inhaling to the other side. Take an inhale here and slow descent as you lower yourself down. Taking Shalabhasana, reach the arms back and inhale to lift head, chest and thighs up off the floor. Take the palms to face down, so imaginary basketballs there that you're pressing into to maybe get a little more height through the upper body. And then from there, coming into Sphinx pose, so lowering down and tuck the elbows underneath the shoulders. Forearms are like train tracks. Look into the belly, lift the belly up off the floor, lengthen back through the toes and forward through the heart. Getting longer and longer through the spine. And then keeping that feeling of length rather than height as you transition into cobra. So again, maybe looking into the belly, lift the belly up off the floor, but the hips stay down, and send the chest forward. Again, going for length, especially through the thoracic spine where the rib cage is. And then exhaling to lower down, rise up just through for a through a push up just to hands and knees. And then sitting back onto the heels if you're able to. So just a little bit of a quad stretch here. Let's plant the left foot onto the floor and take the hands behind you. So it's kind of like an easy camel position, inhaling and lifting the hips up. If this is okay for your head and neck, you could relax it back. Otherwise, stay looking forward. And rather than lifting the right knee up off the floor, actively press the right shin down into the earth. And then melting the hips down, and let's switch smoothly to the other side. So sitting onto the left foot and inhaling to lift the hips up. So it should be giving you a nice quad stretch there. And the right leg is there to stabilize. Hopefully you've got some nice heat to help to the muscles to soften as well. Okay, coming back through this position of hands and knees and back into downward facing dog. And downward dog, you might like to do a little heel twist or heel press, and whatever you feel you need to here so that you can calibrate exactly where you are as you are. We're halfway through a flow, so you've done a whole lot of poses on one side and then not the other. So you may be feeling a little lopsided, and that's okay. We'll bring you back to center. So you can lower the knees down, and in hands and knees, returning to that cat's breath, inhaling to open through the front of the body, exhale to round. Finding this pulsation here. And even in the rounded position, thinking navel to spine and scooping the tail as much as you're able to. One last time. And then adding in the left leg, extending back. Inhale. Exhale to coil in. And maybe at the top of the inhalation that you lift a little higher, and then adding in right arm reaching as well. Full extension, full opening, and even full lift as well. Okay, then replacing the right hand down, a little bit of tone through the belly here as you take the leg behind you and over to the right side. So the spine makes this C shape as you lean your head over to the right. And then again, that tone through the belly, I lift up onto the fingertips and take the foot over to the left side and exhaling right. Inhale to the left. I don't know why I'm smiling as I'm doing this. It's a bit intense. So over to the left, and then knee into the chest and stepping the foot forward. Straighten through the back leg and finding your lunge here. So one breath to inhale up and exhaling, hands down. So then pulsing, inhaling, straightening through the front leg, lift onto tippy toes of the back foot and exhaling down. And that back leg, it's almost like this straw in a thick smoothie and drinking up through that back leg. So it's very active and awake and alive. Let's make that our last one, settling in, but keeping that brightness through the back leg. Then take the left hand onto the left thigh. Inhale the right arm up 3 times. Exhale across the body, but don't touch. Inhale. To lift and open, and no hurry, just this leisurely enjoying, smelling the roses as you go. And then settling in with the third one. Brighten through the back leg so you've got this long line between the crown and the back heel. And every exhale, maybe you can twist yourself around a little further. Again, just checking that you're not collapsing down. Create space, buoyant, bright, and free. Last breath. And exhaling the hands down either side of the foot. Inhale to step forward. Lift and open through the spine, opening the louvers, and exhale to fold. Inhale to come all the way up, extending the arms out and up, and exhale into Namaste. Inhale again, interlace the fingers, lift the elbows high. Exhale, press the palms away. Inhale, coming all the way up. This time, bend off to the right side, standing strong in the left leg. And inhaling through center and off to the other side. Inhaling through center. As you exhale, can you come straight down into chair pose? So if that's okay with your neck and shoulders, again, knees are tracking directly over the toes. Maybe sink the hips down a little more. And then press through the feet, inhale and exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale to lift halfway up. And this time we exhale the right leg back to the back of the mat. Turn the back heel in and down and coming up into your Virabhadrasana 2. So it's your left leg forward, and that you can then come into this reverse warrior position again. Nice deep bend into that left knee and arching over the right leg as best you can. So remember options here. Beautiful thing about yoga is all the options that we have. So you can happily stay here in the lateral angle pose, or even going deeper. And maybe as you revisit this practice that you choose that. And some days coming into this Ardha Chandrasana, half moon position. Maybe some days as well that you hover the bottom hand, other days using the block. So just allowing yourself that variety and giving yourself the opportunity to challenge yourself and experience more, but also listening to your body. And the days that it's just not right, no problem. That's such a beautiful thing about yoga, is this inner listening that we get attuned to. You can then bend into the standing leg and stepping back. Cartwheel the hands down. Remember, we're side planking here, so I'm just switching again. And coming into this side plank position. So I've got the left leg halfway down the mat. And notice that the right ankle is not collapsed down. Stay lifted, stay full and bright. One last time. A lot of brightness in this class, isn't there? You can then exhale the hand down. So this time, stepping the feet to wider than hip width apart. And as the heels come to the side, the right arm will just want to lift up. So it doesn't matter which side. We're going to be doing both sides anyway, no problem. A couple of times. And of course you could have the knee down as an option. Always plenty of options. Okay, lowering yourself and inhale, rising up into your cobra. lengthening toes and heart away from each other. And exhaling to lower. Rise up through hands and knees, and then taking child's pose for a moment. So I'd like to go into a little more quad opening. So you can, when you're ready to, bring yourself up and swinging the legs around, come onto your back. And on your back, bring the right foot, so you can think about this like a cross leg position. So bring the right foot and tuck it under the left buttock. And then I've got the right hand holding the left knee. And it should give you a stretch down that quad. So if you have a sandbag or a small child who's very still, you could bring that onto the right thigh to try and encourage that right thigh down. And if you had more time, by all means, stay there, and even it's a good position to read in. Depends how you go with that. Bring the right leg across now and into the figure 4 shape, and then bringing the knee into the chest. And taking this threading the needle or eye of the needle pose, maybe into a bonus hamstring opening as well. It's a good idea here if you can try and keep the right knee moving back even as you draw the left leg towards you. Give it 2 more breaths here. And then you can smoothly release. So we'll do that quad opener first. So use the right hand to catch the left foot from underneath, and the left knee lengthens away from you. So it's kind of like crossed legs, but it's just the left leg. And then the right knee comes into the chest. Again, either energetically lengthening to the knee or using some sort of external help, maybe a sandbag. Personally, I think a little child would be a bit wriggly, but that's up to you. As best you can, encouraging that left knee down to the floor. And if you're not getting any stretch, then you could do this one as well. This half virasana. Like I said, yoga, there are always so many options, which is a good thing. Though sometimes a smorgasbord you tend to overeat, so mindful of that. Okay, bring the left leg up into this figure 4 shape, and then using the left elbow to press the left knee away. And some of us went for the option, full smorgasbord, eating your soup and your dessert together. Going into the hamstring stretch. So we've opened the hamstrings, open this outer hip with a pigeon type shape, as well as the quad. So the legs should be pretty happy as we then position ourselves. You could take a spinal twist, or you may be ready to lay down for Savasana straight away. It's been said that Savasana is actually the most challenging of all yoga poses. And for some people, that's absolutely true. Other people love it, but at least taking a few moments, give yourself that, a few moments to be still, to celebrate all the good things that have come through this practice. Maybe an opening, maybe some release, maybe just a celebration that you did it. You did this whole practice. Well done. You can stay for as long as you like. Thank you so much for your practice. Thank you for your energy. I wish you well. I wish you deep peace.